Welcome to Math Video 16-1, and we're going to learn about telling time. So when do you need to know what time it is? Maybe you have an appointment. Maybe you want to know what time your favorite TV show is. There's lots of reasons why we need to know what time it is. So what do we use? We use a clock. And if you already watched the video introducing topic 16, you know that there are two kinds of clocks, analog or digital. And mostly we're going to be practicing with the analog clock. What's another name? The face clock. The reason why is because that's a little bit more tricky than digital. Digital just tells you what time it is, hours and minutes. So we're going to focus on analog clock. So everyone hopefully made a practice clock. So let's get started. Okay, the first time we're going to do is 3 o'clock. And notice when we tell what time it is, we always say the hour first. So 3 o'clock, we're going to take our short, slow hour hand and move it to the 3. Now, when we say o'clock, that is the top of the hour when we change from one hour to the next, and that time is on 12. So the longer, faster minute hand goes to the 12, and 3 o'clock looks like that. All right, let's try another time. Let's try 8 o'clock. So what did we say first? We said the hour. So move the hour hand first. So we're going to move it from the 3 to the 8. And because we said o'clock, our minute hand just stays right there on the 12. All right, how'd you do so far? Give me a thumbs up if you did it right. Next, how long is a minute? A minute is 60 seconds, and I need you to go grab somebody else, grab your parents, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, and get a clock with a timer. I use my cell phone in school when we do our 2-minute timing for our math fluency. So maybe get someone with a cell phone, and I want you to sit quietly for 1 minute while they time you, so that you can see and feel how long a minute lasts. All right, go do that now with your family. Time yourself sitting still for 1 minute. How did that feel? Did that feel like a long time to you or a little bit of time? Well, add 60 of those and that makes an hour. So there are 60 minutes in an hour and you only sat still for 1 minute. So 60 minutes in an hour. An hour is how long it takes for the short slow hand to move between numbers. So to go from the 12 to the 1 would take that hour hand an hour to do that. Now the hour hand is always moving, it just moves slow. If you were to divide your clock in half from the 12 and divide it in half down to the 6, that is half of the clock, right? Cutting it in half. And when your minute hand points down to the 6, we give that 2 different names. We call it half past or 30 minutes. Well, how do you know that that is 30 minutes? Do you remember counting by fives on our tally table during morning meeting? Remember how it goes? 5, 10, 15, 20? Well, the clock is set up just like that. We can count by fives on the numbers of the clock. So let me show you on my clock. All right, so if we start it, here we go, if we start at 12, the little minute lines go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when we get to the number, that's 5. Then we go 6, 7, 8, 9, and we get to the next number, 10. So why not take a shortcut? Because we're smart thinkers, we're in 2nd grade, and just count on the numbers by fives. So when we go around the clock, let me see if I can do this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's where we cut the clock in half and we get 30 minutes. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. But when we get back up to the hour, which would be 60 minutes around the clock, we don't say 60 because the clock resets back to 0 and we start the next hour. The thing that you need to know about time is our day on the face clock. You notice our clock only goes to 12. And there are 24 hours in a day, which means that hour hand, that short, slow hour hand right here, that has to go around our analog clock twice. So in order to tell if this means it is 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we have letters that go after the time. We don't always say these letters, but sometimes we do. So we have AM for the morning hours and PM for the afternoon and evening hours. Now a new day begins at midnight, and we're usually asleep then when the new day begins. And from midnight to 12 noon, which is when we start recess on a normal school day, those are the AM hours. So from midnight to noon are AM. And then at noon, we switch to PM. And so then all afternoon and evening, when you're at home and doing your evening activities, those are PM hours till we reach midnight again. And then we switch to a new day and start over with AM. So we have 3 a.m. in the morning, we're sleeping, and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, we would be home. So now that you know all about the clock, let's practice telling time. We're going to practice 4 telling times, but you can continue to practice with your family. Have somebody who can check what time you make on the clock. Now, boys and girls, you don't have any practice pages for telling time, so you need to practice on your own. Can you do that for me? Okay, thank you. All right, so the first time is 6:45. So the first thing you want to do is move your short, slow hour hand to the 6. And remember in morning meeting, we would always start our clock's minute hand up at the o'clock. So right now, your clock should look like this. Okay, now we're going to count by fives on the numbers until we say 45 out loud. So let me see if I can do this. I'll get close. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now they're both pointed down to the 6. Yikes, 30. And keep moving that longer hand. 35, 40. I'm having trouble. 45. Okay. So we're almost done. The thing is, this hour hand's moving too. Remember, I would always say in school, it moves slowly, short and slow. So move this halfway between, oh, I went the wrong way. I'm backwards. Halfway between 6 and 7. So the time 6:45 looks like this on your clock. So practice 6:45. The time is 3:20. Ready? Move your hour hand to the 3. So it should look something like this, pointing to the 3. Now 20. Count by fives on the numbers while you move your minute hand. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20. This is kind of hard to do. Okay, let me move that there. All right, so 3:20 should look like this on your clock. Short hour hand pointing to the 3, long hand pointing to the 4. Do we need to adjust the hour hand? No, it's still moving, but we don't really move it until your minute hand gets to the 6th, which is half past or 30 minutes. 11:10. I want you to do that on your own before I show you. 11:10. Your clock look like this. Your hour hand goes to the 11 first, and then your minute hand goes right here, 5:10. So your minute hand is pointing to the 2. Did you get that before me? I hope so. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to give you a hard one. The time would be 9:55. Make your practice clock say 9:55. Do the hour first, then the minute, then adjust the hour hand if you need to. Does your clock look like this? Okay, your hour hand first went to the 9. Then you should have counted by 5s all the way around the clock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Moved your minute hand, the long one, to the 11. And then we go back and we adjust the hour hand closer to the 10 because it's almost 10 o'clock. This minute hand only has to go 5 more minutes to the new hour. So your hour hand is really, really close to the 10, but not quite on it. Okay, how'd you do? Please keep practicing telling time and making the time on your clock and have someone check it. And we'll see you in tomorrow's math video. All right, bye.